Good afternoon, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Increased Revenue Through Operational Efficiency. Just a quick reminder before we get started, if you have questions, please type them into the Q&A chat feature. Feel free to ask your question at any time during the presentation. We will collect and answer questions at the end. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters for today's webinar, Brick and John. Brick is the Regional Sales Manager for the T2 Pay Station Solution line. His territory encompasses 14 states throughout the Southwest and Midwest. He joined T2 sales team back in 2019 and has over 19 years of experience in the parking industry. Brick's considerable sales and business background has been gained while working within different parking sectors in diverse roles and working with clients across multiple states. He is well positioned to assist customers in planning effective solutions for their parking operations. John Evans is a territory manager for T2 Systems. John is responsible for new business development in his respected territory for T2 Systems, permit and enforcement solutions. John is excellent at communicating with customers, both new and existing, and that allows him to fully understand the needs and objectives of his client base and provides exceptional customer service. Welcome, John and Brick.
Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for attending today. I'd like to review today about our Iris software and how it can be used daily in your operation to increase your efficiency and productivity. Our Iris software is our cloud-based intelligent platform. It can be used on any device because you just access it from a web browser. So you can use it on any computer and also on your cell phone. You can manage your entire operation through Iris. That includes your rate management, your mobile payment management, collections and maintenance, and enforcement, which John will go over in a little bit. Some main features of Iris that are very important to your operation are that the information that comes through Iris is real-time and secure, and this should be actionable information that you use to make your operation more productive. You can manage your rates within Iris, and that includes 6 different rate types: flexible pricing, discounted pricing, and also we can offer convenience fees on any type of rate within Iris now. My favorite feature of Iris now and also in my operations was the reporting and the management dashboards. The reports have a wide range of financial and operational information, and you can run reports on demand, but the best way to get the reported information is to schedule those, and they get delivered into your inbox whenever you need them, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. And you can also send those reports and have them scheduled to go out to different departments and different managers of different areas of your operation. The widgets you can create within Iris are truly unlimited. There's an unlimited amount of combinations. There's over 3,000 widget combinations, and this information is live. So you can hover over different portions of the widgets, and you can zoom in to get more, to drill down on the information, and you can have different tabs within these widget windows. So you can have a finance tab, you can have an operations tab, and even collections. And from this screen with your widgets, you can grab an image of the chart or graph. You can run a report right from that area, and you can also schedule a report off that widget data that you're pulling. Another powerful tool of Iris is that we integrate with so many different parking data vendors. So you can have your enforcement tools, mobile payments, fixed and mobile LPR, reservations, prepayments, business intelligence tools, and sensors. You can have all of that integrated within Iris and view it all in one location. Another function of Iris that's becoming increasingly more necessary is to manage your mobile payments. And you can do all of that and track all of that mobile payment activity in all within Iris. So it's very important to make sure that all of your mobile payments are integrated with Iris so you can see it all in one location. You don't have to switch between different dashboards, and you can really see how all your different platforms are performing. And you can make changes to your operation based on that information. Another important reason to have all of that information funneled through Iris is to reconcile those mobile payments that are submitted to your enforcement team, and you should do that on a monthly basis. Some embedded features in Iris for pay-by-plate operation are limited and preferred parking. And simply put, limited parking helps you increase turnover in a specific area or a specific zone that may need it. If it's a busy area for bars and restaurants or shopping or a downtown area, you can do this with limited parking, and this would prevent a discounted rate from being purchased more than once per day. So whatever the discount is that you're offering, if it's the discounted rate or if it's a free session, call it 1 hour for free. Once the license plate is entered and that session is used, it cannot be used again that day. And so this feature is very good to increase the turnover, but it also helps if there's an operation that's not currently charging for parking and they're looking to make that transition. It helps ease the transition into paid parking. The other feature is preferred parking. So this is what you would use to offer a discounted rate to registered parkers. So if you have an area of town that you want people to register their plates, this would unlock a discounted rate for that parker if it's a neighborhood where there are residents, but then it's also a high traffic neighborhood like a beach or a bar or restaurant area, and you don't want the residents to be upset and pay the high parking rates that the visitors pay, they would enter their license plate and it would unlock that residential discount for them. And anybody that does not have a registered plate within the system will never see those discounted rates. So this just helps with buy-in from residents, sometimes when you're introducing paid parking, but also as an ongoing feature to make sure that those residents are happy. So Iris 8 and PayStation 8, there are many changes that have currently taken place, and these features are available now. One of the biggest features and changes that we've made is the configuration is 100% cloud-based, and it's pushed from your web browser to the PayStation for your hard configuration. So that means you never have to visit the PayStation with a service key to make those configuration changes again. So everything's online and all future updates are over the air. These changes are fully compatible with your current Iris account. And there's also an intuitive visual calendar-based rate schedule. So it's very easy to update your rates, set your rates. It's a calendar view I'll show you on the next page. It looks just like your Outlook calendar, so it's very easy to schedule those rates out in the future, especially if you're changing them often. Another great feature is the over-the-air update of the welcome screen graphic. and you can store multiple screen graphics within your account and change them as often as you need to. If it's for different groups that will be parking in a certain area. But another way you could use it is to have local businesses pay for some ad space. And that's another way that you can generate some extra revenue on top of the parking revenue. So all the software updates are over the air. The rates that are available now with these software updates are hourly, valid for, expires at, daily rates. All of those are supported currently. And you can schedule any of these rate types for a one-time use in the calendar schedule or reoccurring. Another thing that's great now is you can add a convenience fee to any rate, and you can do this to recover processing fees, admin fees, or just to add a surcharge to add, a little bit of more revenue to your operation. Online coupons are available now, extend by phone, pay by space, EMV credit card payments, advanced and restricted parking, and store and forward credit card processing. Those are all available now with current software updates. And some features that will be coming soon with future updates, you'll be able to add time to an existing parking session with the license plate number or receipt transaction code. Multilingual will be available in future updates, incremental rates, service key collections, and also monthly rates. So this is what the calendar-based rate schedule looks like now. So you can see it looks just like your Outlook calendar, and you can schedule the rates, whether they're one-time or scheduled throughout the week. It's very easy to change that configuration as much as you need to, depending on the activity at your parking location. So you can set these rates up. It's all web-based. And multiple users can edit and view the configurations on their own browser. You don't have to visit the back office software anymore. Everyone can do it from their own computer. And you can control the configurations through everyone's user roles and permissions. And this is the updated screen experience for the parker and also for the operations team for maintenance. So it's just a little bit more user-friendly. You can see there's a little bit more information from the parker side and then definitely more information on the maintenance side below. So that's those are some changes to Iris and to PayStation 8. And I appreciate your time. John, you're up.
All right. Thanks, Brick. Awesome information there. Absolutely. Funny enough, my doorbell just rang about 5 seconds ago, so it was a good icebreaker for me to get into my section here. So gotta love working from home. I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to try to talk to people, but I guess I can't do that. So I'm going to come in with a lot of energy. I've had too much caffeine today. So I'm going to go into more general ways to increase revenue. So we're going to kind of cover permitted parking, enforcement, and overall collections. So we'll start with paid permitted parking. So there's a lot of different ways that you can increase revenue by utilizing permits for parking. After talking to several clients, a lot of people don't issue permits, whether it's a university or a municipality, but there's a lot of benefits from actually charging for permits to help increase revenue for your organization. So from a university standpoint, start charging for student and faculty staff permits. Yes, I know faculty staff might not be, very appreciative of that they have to pay for parking at their own place of work, but it's a great way just to generate a little bit of revenue, whether it's a $10 permit for the year, any little dollar amount can help increase that revenue. Student parking. Obviously, when I was a student, I hated purchasing a permit to park at the university that I studied at and paid tuition to. So yes, from my perspective, I didn't like that. But now being on the parking side, I definitely like it. I think it's a great way to generate revenue, when you weren't charging for permits before. With permits, there's a lot of flexibility in ways that you can issue permits, whether they're daily permits for guests or visitors coming on campus, in monthly permits, quarterly, annually, per semester. There's different ways to structure your permits and offer different rates for those different time-based permits. So obviously, you're going to determine the best pricing options based on who the permit is assigned to. So we call that in our system, it's called based on classification and subclassification. So, your faculty staff might have a lower rated permit than, maybe a professor on campus, or, whether it's a senior or a junior or a sophomore or freshman. You can determine those best pricing options based on, their different classification on who they are and where they can park. From a municipality standpoint, there is a lot of revenue that can be made just by charging residents for parking permits. So issuing residential permits and issuing your residents, their guests to start parking and paying for their parking. There's a lot of benefit to charging all of your residents for parking on the streets and their guests that are coming over, and maybe they have a plumber coming over. It's a great way to generate revenue from those different circumstances for your residents. There's also great benefit from charging for daily and weekly permits for your guests and tourists to park around the city. So have them go online, have them purchase a daily permit. If I'm going to the beach for a week, why not just buy a permit for a week? There's a lot of revenue that can be made from those options. From a transient permit standpoint, what kind of the idea behind a transient permit is, I lived in the suburbs of Chicago growing up, and I always, my parents took the train to the city, right? So there is a lot of benefit from having those spaces allocated at the train station to be permitted parking. So you can purchase a permit to go park at the train station just to take the train downtown. Not many people do that today, but it is another great way to generate revenue from setting up something as a transient permit. Another good way is setting up contracts with local businesses to have all those employees that work, at the store, at the restaurant, to pay for permits to park around the streets, or even in specific lots or garages around their place of business. You can set up those contracts with those businesses so they can essentially just purchase a bulk of permits that they can issue to their employees. So they're already paying you in bulk. You have a permit. They are now eligible to park at their place of business. Another big move that a lot of people may find beneficial, may not find beneficial, but is making the move from physical hang tag or decal permits to virtual permits. Virtual is the way, things are moving. That's the way technology is going nowadays with all the license plate recognition systems out there. That way you don't have to pay for those physical hang tag permits. You just use your license plate as that credential to park somewhere as a virtual permit. We'll cover kind of more of the license or LPR in the next slide, but it's a great way to get rid of some cost overhead costs for physical and hang tag permits. So it's definitely a great move to make. And then obviously, with the way the world is today, with the effects of COVID-19, nobody wants to go into the office to purchase permits. Nobody wants to, make any physical transactions. They want everything to be contactless. So instead of having your residents or your students or your faculty staff come into the office to purchase a permit, move everything online. Get everything on the web so they can simply go online, enter all their information, who they are, their email, their phone number, their address, their vehicle information, move everything online so that they can just simply go online and purchase that permit and park away. So that's kind of the gist around permitted parking and ways to generate revenue through permits. Brick, if you want to go to the next slide. So to kind of touch on those two topics, I've kind of shared a few different images here. So on the left, you'll see our T2 Flexport, which is our customer-facing web portal. This is what your parkers can go online and end up using to purchase a permit. So obviously you can create an account, you can check out as a guest, you can change all your vehicle information. It's just a great way to move everything online and to actually get permits and get on a wait list for a permit. It's way easier than having everyone come into the office, avoid the lines. We don't want to deal with that anymore. So that's a great way. Now, another new feature that is coming out and is, I think, no, it's not generally available yet, but T2 Flex app. So this is our newer residential permit solution. It is a web-based application where your residents, the consumers, can go on their phone or on their desktop and apply for a residential permit based on their address. There's no manual labor in the back end to search and verify the address. It's all run through Google Maps, so it automatically verifies. You can purchase your residential permits based on whatever credentials you set up for your residents to have access to a residential permit. How many vehicles they can have permits for. It's also a place where you can issue your guests, whoever's staying at your house or your place of business, they can go online as well and enter license plate information so that you can purchase those guest permits through this app as well. So a couple new things and a couple good ways to go on and actually make everything virtual now. So from an enforcement perspective, there is so much revenue sitting out there just based on citations alone. So you just want to increase revenue by enforcing more efficiently. The best ways to do that is to move away from handwriting citations, invest in technology, invest in a mobile solution that will allow your officers to efficiently enforce out in the field as opposed to handwriting citations. I was talking to a local city here. I'm based in Indianapolis, and I was talking to them, and they have one parking enforcement officer who is going around handwriting citations for their entire city. It's a smaller city, but he is only issuing about, I would say, 500 a year. And they are very interested in going to something, more mobile and actually in technology. And it will increase your efficiency out in the field tenfold. It's crazy how just a piece of software and a mobile solution can help you issue more citations. Obviously, the more citations you issue, the more revenue that you could potentially be getting from those citations. So obviously, and then when you want to invest in technology, there are new rules out there for timed parking zones where you can no longer physically tire chalk out in the field as an officer. That is illegal now. So our solution, the T2 mobile enforcement application, allows you to virtual tire chalk by marking the valve stem locations on the front and rear tires. So it's a great way to avoid the physical tire chalking laws that are out there. So it's just another added feature for moving into a technology-based solution. Now, if you want to go even further into the technology realm, invest in mobile license plate recognition, in fixed license plate recognition. That will exponentially increase your efficiency in overall enforcement out in the field. Move everything to license plate based. You'll save so much time walking around and issuing physical citations to just driving around and recognizing, yep, this person is allowed to park here. Nope, this person is not. Or they are parked over the line, so we're going to issue them a citation. Mobile and fixed LPR are great solutions. Yes, they cost money up front, but down the road, you will see so much benefit from investing in that solution. Brick also mentioned back in a few slides ago about Iris and the capabilities to integrate with, other parking platforms that are out there. you want something like that. So if you have a mobile payment app, or take mobile payments out in the field, or you have the pay station set up on the streets or in parking lots or in the garages, you want a way to enforce on those properly. And the way to do that is through our integrations, or any integration that allows you to enforce on all different aspects of your parking operation. And last but not least, but just understand the data and manage your enforcement operation appropriately. Understand where those citations are benefiting, where you're issuing the most citations, where maybe you're not issuing the most citations, and just understand the data so that you can enforce as efficiently as possible out in the field. So the last kind of big topic I wanted to talk about is collections, right? So collecting on those unpaid citations that your enforcement officers are issuing. A lot of times people don't have a proper, we'll call it, procedure to collect on those unpaid citations. And a lot of times, your operation, you're focused on your daily job. You're not focused on collecting on those unpaid citations. So why not outsource your collections to improve your overall customer service to your parkers, your residents, your city, your university? You have to focus on your daily jobs and your daily tasks. So let someone else handle your collections process for you. Now, the keys to collecting on those unpaid citations, there's a couple steps that you need to take and set your procedure and make sure that everyone is on board. First, you need to obtain registered owner information. That way you know who the responsible party is to attempt to collect the funds that are owed to you. The next is kind of, once you receive that registered owner information, you now know who that responsible customer is for that citation. So send notices out to those people. Now that you have their information, send letters, send notices, tell them, whether it's a notice just basically saying, hey, just a reminder, you still have an unpaid citation, or, inform that responsible party of what may happen if the citation is not paid. Whether it's a late fee, or, a hold on your registration, or another note saying, hey, we're going to send this to a collections agency if you don't pay by a certain date. Keep them informed. Now that you have their information, send those notices out so that they can get notified that they need to pay you. And that's a great way to increase your overall collections. Next is setting up late fees or escalations. So after a certain amount of days, maybe the fee goes up, or there's an escalation fee based on number of days that have surpassed that they haven't paid for that citation. Make sure those are clearly outlined in those notices, and that you have a clear late fee structure, and are informing them of what those fees might be. And then develop a consistent process. So really you want to develop a process that you have. So obtaining that registered owner information, sending a notice out, have a late fee for maybe 30 days later. If you don't pay it 30 days later, we're going to send this off to collections. So just develop that consistent process and make sure it stays that way across every single citation that you issue. That way there's consistency out on the board, there's consistency within your operation, and then there's consistency for the customers as well. So they then know that process moving forward if they do get another citation. And then you want to identify and analyze the trends. So obviously the parking industry has seen so many major advancements in technology over just the last 2 decades, but there is so much data out there to help you collect and increase your performance on collecting on those unpaid citations. So there's a lot of information out there. Talk to local cities, see what they're doing from a collection standpoint. Understand, why is your collection rate so low when ours is so high, or vice versa. Just understand that data and analyze what you can do to maybe improve. Maybe take some of their advice and input some of their processes into yours. Then obviously with collections, the goal is to provide friendly customer service. You don't want to be a bully, right? And just say, hey, you owe us money. That's not the best way to do it. Your job is to help the customer solve a problem. It's not to collect the debt. It's not your job to do that. It's just help them solve the problem. If they can't make a payment, help think of a couple other ways that maybe they can make a payment. In the end, just understand their needs, understand what their situation is, and in turn offer friendly customer service. Once you do that, you're more willing to collect on those unpaid citations. And then obviously you want to obtain your organization buy-in. So just with everything, you want to, it's no secret that when everyone in an organization supports a decision or, a process, everyone is more productive and operations are more efficient. So, obtain that organization buy-in, understand the process, and then start collecting on those unpaid citations that are out in the field. T2 obviously offers full citation services. So our T2 citation services team, we offer full citation processing, registered owner retrieval, letter services, payment processing, and collections. So we can do all of that for you so that you can stick to your daily tasks and then, obviously increase your revenue through just collecting on those unpaid citations. So that was a mouthful. I had a lot of caffeine, so I apologize for that. But yeah, there's a lot of money out there and plenty of ways to generate revenue for your organization.